Good morning, guys. How are we doing? So today it is a vehicle that's been dropped off to JW Autoshine for a sale or return service. Now, sale or return, what does that mean? A customer that wishes to sell their car but hasn't got time to do it themselves. So customer comes in, he's been round a few of the dealers on the island to try and achieve the best Part X or just sale price for his car. Now, modified cars are a tricky one here on the Isle of Wight. Not many people are willing to get involved in them. You know, it's out of a lot of people's understanding. They're worried about touching a car like that because they don't know if they're going to have future problems. They don't know if it's going to go wrong. So it has to go somewhere a bit more specialist. Now on the island, there isn't really that many places that carry that kind of pedigree. They're not specialists. They'd rather deal in your factory standard bread and butter cars. That's where we come in. I'm not scared of a modified car if I know it's been modified well. Now, what I mean by well is it's got supporting paperwork, we know what map is attached to the vehicle, and we know what supporting components are installed to the car as well. Now, it's not my main line of business, but we've got a bit of a following for Fords, and we've got a bit of a following for modified cars in general. So, from time to time, I do get involved in selling cars. Normally, it's the classic Fords. That's where we're busiest. We get a lot of classic Fords come down. People wish to not have to deal with the public. They'd rather it was just dealt with by me. We agree a final price and I take a commission. And we also normally get involved with the preparation through the studio as well. Today though is a Ford Focus Mark III, but the Phase 1, the Mark III, and it is an ST3, and it is a very well equipped vehicle. It's only showing 58,000 miles. I'm going to do a car vertical when I get back to the workshop, make sure there's no abnormalities with it, and hopefully that mileage readout is correct. I'm going to go do my research, but first up I need to drive the car to make sure that I can't hear any issues and that it drives nicely. The last thing you want is to get into a vehicle and, you know, as a prospective buyer, and you go down the road and all of a sudden, bang, you can hear a knock on the back end, the steering's funny, it's got a wheel wobble. None of those things are what you want to see. So I'm setting my morning aside today to take this out for a drive and make sure all is well. And I've literally started it as I've started this video and driven down the road. I'll tell you one thing I can hear, I don't think you can pick it up on camera, it does have a blow-off valve. Not everyone's cup of tea, but if you're into that sort of thing, it does sound quite cool. What I can tell you is it drives fantastic. It really does. It's going to come into a little yeah, it goes very well. As you'd expect, this is a stage 2 tuned vehicle. Has the supporting modifications for it. It has a sports cat, intercooler and map, and a crossover pipe. So for a 2 litre ST, that is what you'd expect to see, and it does drive indeed very, very well. Love the gearboxes in the Mark III Focuses. In fact, I love the gearboxes across the whole Ford range. They are literally a delight to use. Yeah, it drives nice. So I'm going to have a little look at the PSI on the turbo spool, because that will give me an indication of where this car has been mapped to. Okay, so she's boosting just over 3/4 on a short pull there. I'm going to go and have a little look on the statistics for a map and make sure that that is where that's expected to be. Pulls really hard, to be honest with you. Really, really lovely. Steering's nice and direct, suspension's lovely, no knocks or bangs. I think this is going to be a good car. I'm yet to clean it. This is the first thing that we always do. We'll make sure we go out for a thorough test drive first, get the engine up to temperature, and look out for all those problems that you may see on a vehicle of this age and mileage. So far though, so good. It actually is a joy to drive. Feels like it's got a factory clutch. Clutch is very light. Yeah, it does drive really nice. I've just come out to the West White side of the island, where it's obviously a lot quieter, and we've got some 6 mile an hour B roads, so we're able to try and enjoy this car for what it is, which is a fast hatch. Yeah, nice car. Very impressed so far. I can't see there being any issues with this vehicle. So we go down this little B road, nice little twisties down here. Does drive really well, and the customer did assure me. So the reason the customer's given the car to me as well, a little bit of a backstory, is he has accepted a job over in America as a wind turbine engineer, and he is the guy that abseils off the top to make repairs. Absolute lunatic. But he said, I'm over in the States now almost 80% of the year, and I just don't get the time to drive the car when I come back. And he loves the car, but he just doesn't have a use for it now. So he popped in and saw me a week or so ago and said, look Jason, I see you've got a decent online platform. I've been to a couple of the neighbouring dealerships on the island, one very close to us, and they've all sent him to me. So I think we'll do all right with this car. It drives really, really well. Leather seats in the ST3 as well, standard equipment. It does have the larger screen for the ST of this era in here. I do appear to have, I believe, navigation. So, yep, she's got nav. It's the Sony head unit. It's got the dual climate control and heated seats and heated windscreen. So it is a really nice spec car. It really is. Also, no real wear anywhere either. Steering wheel's nice. Seats are really nice. No bolster wear. Yeah, terrific vehicle. I'll be excited to get this one up and for sale. Just going to go and enjoy some of these twisties. Yeah, nice. They do handle so good, this chassis. It's weird. I actually going to get shot down for this on YouTube, I think I enjoy an ST more than I do the Mark 3 RS. I don't know why. I think I was expecting so much from the Mark 3 Focus RS. I've had a couple of them. I've had a Mount Tune 375 one. I've had a Mount Tune 400 one. Now the 400 one was a good car. That one certainly felt how you would have expected that car to leave the factory. The 351 just left me wanting more all the time I drove it. The map was so linear, and I know the whole EcoBoost engine with it's a manifoldless turbo, so the turbo is bolted directly to the head and you get that instant boost, but I quite like that surge of power, and I always will do. I think I've come from an era where you get vehicles that have that little bit of lag. It makes them a little bit more playful, and again that little bit less eager off boost, so when you do just want to cruise around, they're a little bit easier to do. Like listening to this now, I'm breathing the throttle, literally a very quick breathe of the throttle in 4th gear at 40, and it's already blowing off wasted air from the turbocharger. Don't know, it's a strange one for me. Listen, I think I'm always going to prefer the ST over it. This is a bit more playful, a little bit more of a, we're coming on boost and then we're going down the road, whereas the RS is quite aggressive, but then it peters out. I find that at 3.5, 4 grand, I don't feel like you're going any faster, and you may as well just change up. I mean, they do rev out nice-ish. I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it. They're a tricky character, the Mark 3 RS. I was just always expecting more. Don't be wrong, when they're tuned up to big power. Like now, put the floor down, a little bit of slip, bit of playful, right the way up to the red line, and it's just, I actually think I do prefer this. I do. A well sorted ST for what they cost in comparison to how well the Mark 3 RS is holding value. It definitely is I think I just prefer two-wheel drive as well. It's just a bit more playful. We've got some feedback through the steering wheel. I actually do prefer the front-wheel drive version of this car. A little bit of torque steer, a little bit more feedback. It's a good car. I do rate the Mark 3 ST, I do. I've always loved the Mark 2. That's up on a pedestal for me. The Mark 2 ST will be a legend forever with that 5-pot soundtrack in the Mark 2 chassis. It was a great car. I've had many of them as well. But yeah, I've got 2 family members with Mark 3 STs. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law both got this version of Focus ST, and they just find them uber reliable. They never really have any problems. Obviously I look after all my family's cars. They just get them serviced and valeted and looked after, and they are good as gold. I like it. This wasn't meant to turn into a review, but I've just kept driving because I'm enjoying myself. I've found myself about 7 miles away from work now during we're having this chat. But no, I think the Mark 3 ST is a cracking motor car. And what's this going to retail at? I don't really know. I've not done much research. I had a brief look yesterday. I think they are a bit of a bargain. They're under 10 grand now. And this is a very capable car with nice mileage. I know when I went to see the other 2 vehicles for my family, they were both over 10 grand, but they've had them over, one of them's had them 2 years, the other one's had it just over a year. And they were certainly between 10 and 12,000 pounds. I think this car retails today around 8,995. That's where I feel this car is, and that is a hell of a car for that money. Reliable, power-wise, going to be up around the late 200s. Customs thinks it's a 290 map on this car, which is why it feels alive. It certainly does. We've just got a bin man there. Just going to give him a little bit of space. Doing a good job. Yeah, but Mark 3, good car. It really is. And a bargain too. Don't hold me to this figure. I need to do some research. It might be a little bit more than 8,995 to be fair. It might be more 9,495, but it's going to be around that area. All depends on the vehicle condition as well. When I get back to the studio and I give it a really thorough clean and get it in under the lights, we're probably going to have to give it a polish because it is black, and we'll do a nice full valet inside here. We'll do all the engine bay. You know, we present cars well. That's our thing. We present them well, we describe them well, and those 2 things meet in the middle, and then the last job is to price it correctly. Don't take the mickey. There's no point having a car sat there for months because you priced it too high. We've got an expectation from the customer, so we know what we've got to do for him. We may as well advertise it for the right money and get it in that marketplace so that it looks attractive to the buyer. And that is, again, another time consuming thing, because I'll go on Auto Trader and eBay and Piston Heads and Facebook, look at all the various marketplaces that are available to me, and then make my judgment call and think that car's going to sit in real nicely at that price point. Got a Tesla in front. He's going really slowly. We're just cruising through the village of Chale at 24 miles an hour. But if you know the Isle of Wight and you come to the Isle of Wight, there is a road called the Military Road. It's our most enjoyable B road here on the Isle of Wight, and not a better place to stretch a car like this legs out on the open road. And unfortunately he's going there too, so hopefully he'll go off and find a charging point somewhere. Oh, I think I have found my first little rattle. So on gear changes, and I know what that will be. That will be the lower gearbox support mount. It's sort of a tiny little bit of vibration there between gear changes. Don't think you can hear that on camera. That is a common issue. We will get one of those on the car so that it doesn't keep doing it. But I guess with the added power, the standard components are going to wear, and maybe that's been missed by the customer. So looking for a little overtake there. The Tesla is bimbling along in the national speed limit. We'll let him go for a minute. Hopefully we'll find a little straight, properly stretch the legs of this car. We'll pick this back up in a minute. Okay, Tesla's turned off. This is a nice car, let me tell you. Not too loud either. Little bit of slip from the front end. I don't mind that. For a point-to-point car, this is cracking. This is actually, in my mind, a little bit more enjoyable, as I said before, than the Mark 3 RS for literally half the money. I get why people mod these, because I don't think a Mark 3 feels any quicker than this, I've got to be honest. With the added weight of the four-wheel drive system, this certainly feels on it. Yeah, I'm impressed. Someone is going to bag themselves a bloomin' good car here, and there's no hops and bangs at all. It just is exhaust noise, which is a credit to the mapper, because you don't need the pops and bangs. I know they're nice if you're into that sort of thing, but this literally is a very nice pulling hard all rev range map. Temperatures all look good. Well, I think I've satisfied myself that this is a good car. You can't beat being out on a busy, a not busy B road in a Focus ST. Yeah. Right. We best get back to the unit, because I have got work to do, but I'm fully satisfied that this is a good car. I really am. Let's get back to the studio, get it washed, we'll have a walk around the car, and get it valued, get it up for sale. See you in a minute. Just pulled over. Thought I'd show you how filthy this thing is on the outside, because we've got to obviously prepare it for sale. But I've enjoyed that drive this morning. I'm impressed. Nice car that, and true of a low mileage car, it performs exactly as you would expect. It does have a nice rear diffuser, has a nice exhaust system, has a extension on the spoiler, I'm gonna say, don't really know. Hecos, standard wheels, and that upgraded front grille. But listen, I need to get this back to the studio. It is in big need of a clean, but yeah, nice car that is. I'm impressed. Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, lovely old job. Let's get it back to the studio, get it clean, because as you can see, it is hanging, especially after this morning's test drive, to make sure this is going to be a good car. Let's get back to the... Okay, so I've just got back to the shop, and having driven the Focus, I'm happy with the way it drives. I do think it needs a lower gearbox torque mount. I can certainly hear that is worn. But it's time to get the all-important car vertical check. I'm doing this because I want to make sure all the mileage is concurrent and it's not been involved in any accidents. So I'm just going to add the registration to it, which is Hotel Golf 62 UTV. Click get report. I'm no way affiliated with Car Vertical, but I find it is a fantastic bit of kit. So it's going to be able to tell us safety, financial protection, and obviously going to give us the peace of mind knowing what we are selling. So I'm going to use one of my credits that I've got, and I use Calvin Car Diaries discount code. Why not? Great idea. So that's just loading the report now. Takes a little while because it does check all around Europe, parts of America. It checks for everywhere in the world this car could have possibly been against finance, and obviously the more important things, the car accidents. So I'm just going to wait for that to load, and hopefully it's all green. Now I do know this car has a little bit of finance attached to it. That's fine. We'll be dealing with that once the car is sold, so that isn't going to be a shock to me. Then next up, I'm going to go on the computer, have a look at other vehicles in the price bracket that I feel this car falls into, and then get the car fully priced up. So we'll have a little look, view our report. So the odometer looks good. Let's have a little look on there. Yeah, that is what you want to see, a very steady graph all the way through between MOTs, so that's good. It's not been stolen and it's not got any damage recorded. Financial and legal status, it's obviously telling us that there is an operating finance agreement out on the car. So fantastic news, to be fair. MOT up together, no damage. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant news. Shout out to Car Vertical. That is a very quick way of checking everything we needed to know, and it's got 4 owners in the vehicle's history. So next up, I'm going to have a look on Auto Trader and see what these vehicles are selling for. So having a look on Auto Trader, I've put my search in to the criteria that matches our own car here. So these vehicles are all between 50 and 70,000 miles, and they are between 2012 and 2013 registered vehicles and have full service history. And there is actually only 5 vehicles in this search area. So the first one we've got there, 8990. This got actually got about 8,000 more miles than ours, but looks to be a very similar spec ST3. Next one, 8495. And we've got another one in orange, 9699. This one's got more suitable mileage compared to ours. We've got one here at 65,000 miles, another black one again, got some black wheels on it. Other than that, looks pretty standard. That one's 8250. And we've got one down here, this red one, that's on at 9450. So prices are quite varied. We've got 8250 right the way up to 9699. That's a difference of like 1400 quid. That's quite a big gap. Now, as I said earlier in the video, before I did my research, I think ours is an 8495 car, which then looks attractive against one with more miles on it. But then we've got to take into consideration the car we have is indeed modified, and this obviously does hamper the price as well. Not everyone wants a modified car. Let's get it cleaned up and I'll make my own judgments afterwards, because I know this car is a clean example bodywork wise, so that is in its favour. I think the wheels could do with refurbing, so we're going to have to get those done if we want to achieve top money. But I think my hunch in the car earlier in the test drive is going to be about right. I think it's going to be an 8495 car to retail. But let's get it washed, get it in the studio, we'll have a walk around it, see if there's anything else we need to do to it, and if there's not, we'll get it out for sale. So with that, I've got the Focus cleaned up on the wash bay and ready for marketing. I've listed the car on the Facebook page today just so we can gauge some interest. But as you can see in the pictures, it cleaned up really, really, really well. Really happy with how it looks. I'm going to price the car at 8495. It's pretty much the second cheapest one in the market at the moment, and I think it does offer very, very good value for one of these cars. We'll see how it goes. We'll come back to this in another video and see if we've had many calls on the car in the last few days. By the time this video goes out, it would have been advertised for probably a couple of days as well. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, much appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.